Good morning. Welcome you again to Morning Encouragement. I must confess to you this morning some things that have been going on in my mind for some time, and one of those things that I must confess to you is that the last 4 months of my life have been different. I bet you could say the same thing. As I was summing up this morning my thoughts about these last 4 months, I thought, at times it's been scary. At times it's been confusing. And I must admit, at times it's been even ridiculously funny. The announcement of COVID-19, as you know, has promoted fear and frustration around our land and around the world. The events like the shutdowns and the quarantines and the news reports that followed the announcement have left us wondering if anyone knows what it is, where it came from, or why all the warnings and mandates are necessary. We know there's sickness in the land and people are dying, and that's serious. But let's face it, it's been that way since I've been old enough to know what sickness and death were or are. That's nothing new. We've had pandemics before, we've had epidemics before, we've had sickness and death before, but never have I seen reaction like we had to this one. Never have I seen a time when they were willing to sacrifice so much of the things that the people of America love just for the sake of protecting ourselves from this pandemic. Like I said, I don't know about you, but I found it at times to be funny. Yes, scary sometimes and confusing sometimes, but somewhat comical. I don't have the answers. But let me say this, before COVID-19, I didn't know how long I would live, and I still don't know how long I will live. Before COVID-19, I didn't know how I would die, and I still don't know how I will die. Before COVID-19, I didn't know what tomorrow holds, and I still don't know what tomorrow holds. But I know this, I still have a life to live. I still have a responsibility to uphold. You see, I'm a Christian. I'm one who believes in God, and I believe He's the ultimate power to be dealt with. I'm not to worry about the powers of this world. I'm to worry about whether or not I'm pleasing to my God. And as a Christian, I must spend my remaining days here on earth being faithful to Him, trusting in Him, serving Him, listening to His directions, following His leadings. I'm not to love the world or the things that are in the world. I'm not to allow the world to trap me. I'm not to give in to my flesh. I'm not to allow Satan, my enemy, to trick me or lead me astray. What I am to do is be faithful to God and stay close to Him and follow His direction and listen to what He says. We have certainly been distracted in the last 4 months. Even good people who are Christian people who love God have had their minds drawn away to, will this kill me? How am I going to die? What's going to happen? What in the world is going on? And all of that distracts us, I believe, my friend, from doing what God would have us to do. Well, fear always replaces faith. We know that. And without faith, we can't be pleasing to God. So we must be very careful in these days. Well, let me ask you today these questions then. To whom are you listening today? For what are you living today? And what do you wish to achieve until you draw your last breath? What's your life about? And what do you want it to accomplish? If you're a Christian, I hope you want to please God. I hope you want to live for Him. I hope you want to serve Him. And you won't allow any of these other things to blind you and keep you from seeing the truth and from keeping your mind and your life headed in the right direction. Are you a Christian? If so, how close to God are you? You say, what difference does that make? God's always with me. Wait a minute. Both Scripture and experience teach us that it is we, not God, who determines the degree of intimacy we have with Him. We are, at this moment, as close to God as we choose to be. So it is possible that other things could come between us and Him. And when that happens, They are as idols, as monuments that we erect, as things that draw our attention to them rather than God. And so we're drawn aside. As I was thinking about these last 4 months and how my heart has fluttered at times, how my mind has been confused at times, how my life has been shut down at times, I want to just ask myself, how pleasing is this to God? I am to be in subjection to the authorities over me, and I want to do that to please God. But I want to be obedient to Him, and foremost and for always, I want my life to count for Him. Do you? I hope so. James chapter 4, verse 8 says this to us. It says, draw nigh to God, and He will draw nigh to you. It says, cleanse your hands, you double-minded. If you've let these things distract you from who God is and what you're doing for Him, your faithfulness to His Word, your faithfulness to prayer, you're constantly seeking Him for help and wisdom in this time, then we have been drawn away by the tricks of the devil, the allurements of the world, and the desires of the flesh. And we must put those things down and run back to God. I hope you'll consider what I'm saying today, and I hope that you get into the scriptures and read that a little portion there in James chapter 4 and see what it says about how we should react regardless of what's going on around us. I hope you'll have a good day today, and I hope to see you here again tomorrow on Morning Encouragement.